It's football season and there are a ton of parties to go to. If you're looking for an easy to make recipe that's sure to please, well, I've got one. It's stuffed crescent rolls. We're gonna put in some brisket as well as some peppers, and they turn out fantastic. I have some leftover brisket that I'm gonna do the poor man's sous vide method to warm it back up. I set it off to the side so I could use the burner. I'm gonna add some cooking oil to a hot pan, and I'm using avocado, but use whatever you've got, and then toss in a sweet onion and cook it until it starts to caramelize. While that's going, chop up a couple of bell peppers. I'm cutting these a little bit smaller than I normally would, so that way they fit in the rolls, and it speeds up the cooking process. We're looking for something that's about a 1/4 inch chop. I'm also using a yellow pepper to add a little bit more color. Now, red peppers would work just as well, but they just didn't look as good at the store. Toss them both in the hot skillet with the onions and then mix to combine. It's also a good time to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. While those are cooking, let's preheat the grill. Ideally, you'd leave the center burner off and leave the outside burners on to produce the heat. The indirect heat helps keep the rolls from burning. Now, one good option is to place a cooling rack and a cookie sheet to block the radiant heat from the fire, then put your cookie sheet with the food on it on top of that. My preferred option, though, is the pizza stone, which helps even out the heat. Just be careful not to preheat it too long or you'll burn the bottoms. Chop up the brisket or the pulled pork. I'd forgotten that I overcooked the brisket the first time, which made it a lot harder to slice. Now, the peppers are fully cooked and it's time to add in the meat. I added a couple of tablespoons of my favorite barbecue sauce to amp up the flavor, as well as a tablespoon of a sweet rub, which goes really well with the funk of the Gorgonzola. Mix everything together until it's combined and stop cooking it. Take it off the heat and get ready to put it all together. The lazy man in me uses canned crescent roll dough. They're quick and easy to make, and everybody loves fresh baked rolls, and they remind me of Sunday dinners as a kid. The scariest part is still trying to pop them open, which surprises me every time. This dough looks suspiciously like their biscuit dough cut into triangles, but is perfect for what we want it to do. Just be careful not to stretch it out too much when you unroll it. Start off with a couple of spoonfuls of the filling and add the Gorgonzola. If you aren't a fan of funky cheese, you can use cheddar or mozzarella instead. Now, there isn't a right or a wrong way to fold these up, but some of them don't give a great presentation. The method that I found that works best is to fold over the two ends that are close together and then wrap the long end up over the top and back underneath it, which gives a similar look to a crescent roll. After you've done it a couple of times, it's pretty easy and they come out looking great. The barbecue is preheated to 375 degrees, and the only thing left to do is toss them in for 8 to 10 minutes until they're golden brown. If you've never baked on your barbecue before, it's a good idea to test with a few of the crescent rolls before putting on the good stuff, just to make sure that you have the temperature right and you don't burn the bottoms. So I don't know about you guys, but I love the flavor of barbecue sauce and Gorgonzola or blue cheese. I think the combination goes really well together. And these came out pretty awesome. I don't think you'll hear any complaints if you share them with your friends. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, and of course, like and share this video so the channel can continue to grow and more people can enjoy this recipe too.